The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. Well, hello, everybody. It's Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. Welcome to the only show about Spartan Dawgs, hosted by Spartan Dawgs. This is Sparta MSU. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, the boss, Otis Wiley, and Jehuu Caulcrick. This is your first time joining the show. We want to welcome you. And if this isn't your first time, thank you. You need everybody that's in that chat, because that's where the party's at, to hit that like and subscribe button right away. We got a lot to talk about today, a lot of good news, and obviously some things that aren't so pleasant, but we're going to get into the meat of that, guys. Before we get into that, let us know where you guys are watching from so we can give you a shout out. As we know, there was a game played on Saturday with Richmond. Michigan State had a very, very nice win, but what dominated the news was the events that happened after the game, late in the night, going into early morning on Sunday, when there was a report of misconduct by Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker. And, obviously this was a terribly embarrassing situation for all parties involved. As a former player, I know you guys will have your piece to say here as well. The peculiar timing of the story, was rough, and Jehuu, you were with me when we were together. We were at Dagwoods after the game with George Blaha and his wife Mary, and things were good. Everybody was in a good mood. We were watching football. We go back to our hotel to watch some more games, and kaboom! The news hits, and it was surreal for all of us that were there to hear what was going on and try to make heads or tails of what was going on. Almost felt like, to me, some kind of a weird nightmare or some kind of a dream that was going on that I would wake up from, but obviously it wasn't. And come Sunday, after player-only meetings and obviously a press conference from athletic director Alan Haller, Michigan State now has suspended head coach Mel Tucker, and new interim coach Harlan Barnett has been named to lead the program, and also bringing in former legendary head coach Mark Dantonio as associate head coach going forward for this week and move forward for the rest of the season. Guys, I'll start with you, Chew. Tell me, what you feel and how you're going, because I know it's all about the players, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you hit the nail on the head. It's terribly embarrassing situation that happened there for everybody involved with the school, with Coach Tuck, the university, the player, everything it's not a good look, especially with, people are going to bring back, what happened in the past at Michigan State and everything like that. But you really can't. Let's we got to really, as Spartans right now, the biggest thing that we have to do is we have to take that focus. We got to shift it into the 110 players that are on that team. We got to shift the focus onto those guys. Those kids had nothing to do with this. Those kids. So, right. If there's outside noise talking about, there's Michigan State again in this, those kids, all they did was come, show up, and put on a great performance for us on Saturday. They go to school, they go to practice, and they go out and have fun and everything like that. But they represented the university in the right way, and they still are. They had a players meeting, and some things I took out of that came from that players meeting was, if we're gonna be a player-driven team, this is the time that we have to do so. That maturation by those guys on that team, that speaks volumes about the character of kids that we have. The family of those players on the team, coming out, supporting this team, supporting their kids, that is what we need to turn our focus to as well. We cannot put the focus on one thing that happened and have that overshadowed. At the end of the day, those kids played their asses off the first 2 weeks. They're 2-0. They got Spartan Nation to this point where there's a sense of belief that this season's going to be good. And just like that, with one swift, click of the button, this story goes out into the universe. Spartan Nation has to come together. Spartan Nation has to be there to support these kids. Spartan Nation needs to be there to support these coaches, that are still on the staff, getting these kids ready to go. That is what we need to do, and that is where we have to start to move forward to. We have to. There's still excitement. There's still, we'll go into it with Coach Barnett's press conference a little bit. I called Otis after I listened to that. I was like, man, I'm getting a little emotional here because I want it so bad for him. I want it so bad for these kids right now. And that's what we need to do. We need to figure we have to rally. We have to be there for these kids. We have to be loud. We have to be proud. We have to be Spartans. And we have to cheer these kids on Saturday and throughout, not just on Saturdays, throughout the week. We have to send encouragement to them. We can't get caught up in the media back and forth and everything like that. He said, she said, this, that, and other. We can't get caught up in that as Spartan Nation. We have to focus and support these kids.
Yeah, what you said. Listen, we're it's tough to even say this, but we're immune to all the craziness, all of the national news. Like we're become so immune to it that we still haven't truly, healed from what happened in February or, from the mass shooting, but we persevere. Spartan Dawgs, the Spartan way, it's perseverance. It's battling through adversity. You're only as best as your next link on the team. And so from a standpoint, I can only imagine that, I was asleep. Obviously I was knocked out. It was a long day of work. I fell asleep and woke up to all of that happening on Sunday morning. And so, I know you guys call me like that 1 a.m. clock there. I'm like, there's no way I was up. But to the point of, you go to quickly a kind of crisis management. This is the jobs that we're in that you got to go strictly to, the office in the morning, work that half day of basically just drawing up the hypotheticals, proactive reach outs to, people all involved that have supported the program. But in the sense of it, I texted our Spartan Dog group, actually to one of our good friends, Justin Kershaw, one man, his decision should not put us under. It's an element of the foundation is built to sustain. And so the guys to choose point, it's a player-led team. I think it's an element of we've did a lot of work in the summer to get ready for the season, and we're not going to take a step back. Washington is on the clock. We know what they did to us last last year. We're prepared for them to come into town, and we gotta go to work. And I think that's the mindset of wins do cover all these multitudes of sins, in a sense, and essentially that's what you got to focus on. But to this point, it's time to let Coach Barnett and the coaching staff continue what Coach Tucker, had built, and these guys got to rally together, and we all have to rally together. Turn your frustration, your disappointment, and your energy to support these guys. To choose point and Stray's point, support. That's what we need through the good and the bad. We need solid, consistent support. None of the bashing, none of the things because everybody involved, are hurting about this. But we got to support, and that's all I can say.
Tough times don't last. Tough people do. And when you talk about tough people, we had Harlan Barnett on the show, the only coach that we've actually had on the show from Michigan State football, surprisingly enough. And he is now the new interim coach for Michigan State football. We have a couple of cuts we want to play of his press conference. And if we can just listen to that right now and hear words from head coach Harlan Barnett.
Spartans, And they all when I say this, all Spartans know what I'm talking about. And we always talk about the chip on the shoulder, hard working, tough. Let's go back to Coach Perlis. Is hearing him saying things like that over and over. Tough, we're going to make them limp out the stadium. We're going to be the hardest hitting team. So we're tough. We're Spartans. We're resilient. And for another term that I tell people sometimes, I'm a dog. I'm a dog. Be a dog. We're going to push through this as Spartans do, as Spartans will, right? Spartans will. And we will push through this. We'll become better for it, like everybody does when they come out of adverse situations. They keep fighting and keep pushing through. So I expect that to happen.
Words from, Harlan Barnett. Guys, you played while he was coaching here. Obviously you talked about that during the interview that we had here on this show. And knowing the kind of man that he is, there was the coordinators, obviously Jay Johnson and Scotty Hazelton, who could have been a choice to do that. But the choice of Harlan Barnett, the kind of moral character that he has, the leadership, and him being a former Spartan Dawg, and still a Spartan Dawg, means a lot to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just say a quick little piece here. Otis has been in the room with him, knows him, more because he, coached him. But like I said, when Coach Barnett was on the show, Coach is a guy that it doesn't matter if you're an offensive guy, a defensive guy, a special teamer, you just gravitate to him because of the type of person he is, the type of man that he is, the values, the morals that he embodies and encompasses. So, I think it's an excellent choice, for Michigan State to, elevate him as an interim head coach. So it's going to be, that's something that's special. I think it's a good choice. And like I said, people gravitate towards Coach Barnett because he's a leader of men.
Yeah, speaking of leader of men, he has the respect of everybody in the program, not just obviously football. Everybody that has an interaction with Coach B, it has a pleasure, a privilege to, one, be coached under him. It's nothing but respect for how he carries himself. He's truly a definition of walking the walk and the talk that he preaches to us. And I think that was an element of when you have to figure out and look with internally who in that staff or who in that building can mend, can carry this burden. That's Coach Barnett. And it's unfortunate the circumstances that he's getting his first stab at or first take at being a head coach in this circumstance, but he's built for it. And I feel like if you talk to him, he would say that he is built for this. And so, Coach B is one of those guys that you never have a question where you stand with Coach B, right? And that's an element of guys need accountability. He's going to tell you, but he's also leading by example. And so, I love about the press conference, which I wish we had, that clip, but, Audrey from, WNS asking about, there's a few guys on here that, are truly religious and God following. And, he raised his hand and said, "Hey, me too." Right. Like he said, he's like, "Hey, me too." And the foundation that's built on it, that's where he stands, and he's not afraid and not ashamed to say that. And so I think that's an element of coming closer, uniting. And I just see him also. I thought he's about to do the Coach D, we're all going this way, right? We're all going in one direction. And I'm excited for him because, to choose point, I did get goosebumps thinking one, Coach B is an emotional guy where you can tell it's an element of I am at my alma mater that I've played in blood, sweat, and tears, paid the price, and I'm now leading it. You can feel that from a former Spartan Dawg of that is a dream come true, right? And so we need all the support. I see all that, not mess, but now the news of who's the next coach? Why are we even thinking about that? We got a guy right here that can help us get to more get that integrity fully back to where it has to be in order to sustain this. And so Coach B is good, man. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, speaking of Coach B, Harlan Barnett, we have some more quotes from him in this press conference right here.
Sad and angry never came up as the first 27 guys that I've spoken with, and those guys have all been the older guys as well. We tried to work with the older guys and working our way down to the younger guys, but no sad or angry sympathy for Coach. But other than that, they were great.
And then just want to follow up real quick. You do have a lot of religious players on your team this year. They're very spiritual, the ones that we've been able to speak with as well. So how do you maybe hope?
I am too.
How do you hope then that maybe some of that, you mentioned everyone needing to come together to lead. How do you think that can bring people together?
I think it'll bring people together perfectly, the ultimate way to bring people together. So something we used to do with Coach Dantonio was when he was here every day, every day after practice, everybody come up and he'll say, "Who got it?" Somebody would pray. And so we did that yesterday. And so, I'm looking forward to bringing that back. And when I say who got it, somebody was like, "I got it." A lot of times it's quiet and they wait, "Well, I got it then," you know what I mean? But it was immediate. So that's an awesome thing.
Harlan, I understand from Sunday's press conference that Coach D is going to wear headsets.
Yes.
My question to you is his role less X's and O's and more to be a calming influence on this team and on you?
Bingo. But you haven't been doing this for so long, Fred, that you can figure things out. But yes, that's what it is more than anything. That's what it is. That's exactly, I couldn't say it better.
And he was open arms with this, right?
Yeah, you already know it. Yes. Because he looked at me as like, that's one of my guys. So I'm going to come back and support one of my guys. And so, Coach D, since he's been retired in the summer, he goes around, he goes to Pitt, he goes to wherever Luke is, he comes here.
He was at some of your practices.
Yes, so he's been doing that. He supports his guys.
Yeah, great words right there. To your point, Otis, you talked about that when he said, me too. And he's bringing back that prayer that was so famous that Coach Dantonio had after every practice that I saw for, 11 years or so with his tenure here at Michigan State, or actually more than that. So, guys,
just to add to that. So
go ahead.
We know, like, tradition, one of the traditions was changed, right? And we talk about the walk. It was changed. What I need for everybody to do is you get to campus, you tailgate, and you're having a great time, laughing it up, getting ready for the game, but you got to get to the walk. It's going back from walking from Kellogg to the tunnel. So I need everybody to line up like it's 1998, like it's back in 2000s. You gotta let's honestly show up in waves and waves of support along the river, obviously from Kellogg all the way through Sparty to the tunnel. They need to see this. Like, they need to see a wave of support, and it needs to be crazy because this is a big game. This is a big monumental opportunity for us to, like you said, winning can cover all of this, but get there early. Parking lots open at 7. Public parking, if you don't have donor parking, get there early, walk over there, show some love. I would say get there, set up shop like it's a parade, sit down there and wait. And it's gonna be great. And I think that's an element of Coach D, but also Coach B. Like, that's he lived it, he walked the walk, right? So it's an element of, look, we got to get back to the basics and get ready for this game. But I love Coach B. Coach B's great, man. Like, that was a great press conference. Like, I don't know any other way he could have handled that. I mean, he also handled a lot more questions than why I thought he would, right? And so, very smooth. Did we get the clip about the Sabanese? Did we get that one too? Like, he was like, okay.
Yeah.
But Sabanese, he said it when he was on our show here.
Yeah,
too.
he did. Yep. So that's just good. Look, I'm excited, man. Very excited.
Yeah, to echo what you're saying there, Otis, like, for fans that are out there that you may, have questions and feel like, I don't want to deal with Michigan State football right now. That's the absolute wrong thing to do. These kids that are playing, these coaches on this team did nothing wrong. All they've done is played their asses off, like you said, Jehuu, and they're 2-0, by the way. And they have a top 10 opponent coming into town here, Michael Penix Jr., who's beat Michigan State in the Indiana University uniform in Spartan Stadium and as a Washington Husky last year out in Seattle, out in Tacoma, Washington. Look, you have to be here for these guys right now. They have great chemistry. They're doing everything the right way. They have great high moral character. You have Harlan Barnett, Coach D, for crying out loud. And look, if you like a couple of pops, they're going to be selling the carpet, the good stuff in the stadium, from what I understand, this weekend. So you better be there.
He said it like it was a prohibition, like the good stuff.
The good stuff, right? Jew, like, talk to them, man. Like, we got to get people here to support these teams and be extremely passionate about it because they need you more than ever right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I'm excited. When Otis did, because I didn't know that the walk is going back to the Kellogg and coming back to when Otis just said that was news to me, and that's something I'm excited about because when all this was happening, I was trying to think, how is Coach Barnett going to make it his own? Different ways that he's going to make his own. One thing he said, talking about that prayer factor there, and that's huge. Specifically remember that as well. And we spoke a few weeks back about the walk changing and everything like that. So I think that's something that's really cool that is coming back. I wonder if they're going to do the walk across the field. Now, so some different elements that's coming, but the big thing is we're gonna talk more about this on Thursday when we break the game down and everything. But I think now is the time that we start. Okay, we get it. It was a state of shock. It was that bad dream and everything like that. We can control what we can control. And as Coach Dantonio would tell his players, and he told us this every single time: we are who we are. And that's where we are right now. We are who we are, and what we can be. We're Spartan fans right now because nobody that's on this chat, that's in this chat on this screen, is going to play a single down on Saturday. But what we can do, everyone, we can collectively cheer. We can collectively be there to support these players and support our school that, like Coach Barnett said, you cut him open, he's going to bleed green. And that's the same thing for us on this show here, on this platform. We're provided this platform because of these athletes on the field there. So why not us cheer them on? Because I'm telling you this, I have a really, really good feeling about this game. These kids are focused. These kids are locked in. They're ready to go. They have a mission. Nothing is going to throw them off their mission. They have a mission that they're on. The goals are still ahead of them. Coach Tucker's not here. He was not going to play a single down on Saturday. So they're the ones that's going to be doing it. And their goals, their dreams, their hopes are still in front of them. And something that I took there, Coach Barnett is having those one-on-one conversations. He's taking the time. It's a whirlwind of things that's being thrown at him right now as the head coach. Media from different sides of things. That was just our media. Then he has to sit down and do media with other, with Washington media and everything like that. Get ready for the coaches show. All those different things. But he's taking the time to meet with every player individually and see, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What's the temperature of the team? Those are the things, those are the marks of someone that cares for his players, that wants to move this thing forward. And the best thing about it is these players are saying, we are ready. We're focused. We have one goal in mind, and those goals are still in front of these guys.
They definitely are, guys. I mean, that was well said by all parties, man.
Did y'all hear George and media's question? George?
Yeah,
George,
yeah.
Did you hear George?
Yeah, have you put films together for these? Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, guys, you said it perfectly there, guys, and you talked about this team. I mean, all they've done is, just come out and just blown people away with the performances offensively and defensively. Put up 45 points, all they did against Richmond. We want to cover that, go into details on what they did last week and what they're going to do against Washington after these messages from our friends over at IHOP and see.
Introducing new buttermilk biscuits in sweet and savory flavors, so everyone can have their perfect biscuit. Or add one on the side. Get a breakfast biscuit sandwich with a side for just $7 for a limited time.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Well, fellas, got through the hard stuff right there. I know it's all emotional, and look, it's all up and smiles from here on out, because we're talking about the recap of the Washington game. 45-14 was the score a week ago. And, I know this is going to be really happy for one of us on this show, because Noah Him and Nate Carter had stellar performances. Noah Him, 18 of 22, 292 yards and 3 touchdowns. Chew, take it away.
Take it away.
No,
I mean, you got that proud papa look in your eye right there.
Hey,
I see that.
Because it's been 2 games in a row that his predictions and his support has came through. So I feel you, Chew. Go ahead, do it.
No, first of all, Nate Carter. Shout out to Nate Carter. Congratulations to Nate Carter. He just recently got engaged.
He did.
So, congrats.
Yes, I shot him a message. He was juiced about his engagement. Coming to East Lansing, meeting a young lady, that walks that's cut from the same cloth, walks in the same path as him. That's what college is about. Coming, meeting that person, and going from there. But his stability has got him stable on the football field. Scoring 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. The last person that scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter of a game is another guy that's from Western New York as well. So
I wonder who that might be.
It must be something in the water out there in Western New York. No, congratulations to Nate Carter. He played a great game. He had to carry the load because Berger got injured in this game here and couldn't come back, and so he had to carry the load. And that's different now. When you're every down back, that's throwing it back now to a little old school football now. So he has to get himself in shape, the durability, all the offseason work that he put in. Now that's coming in. But hey, Noah Kim, can we just all say he's him?
Noah Him.
Can I get a he's him? Can I get a he's him?
He's him.
Yes. The guy, coming out there conducting that offense, doing his thing, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, doing what he's supposed to do. The team did exactly what they were supposed to do. They came out there, they built a big lead, and they gave the backups an opportunity to come in the game and showcase what they could do as well. So that is what we're supposed to look at. This guy just slinging it, gunslinger back there, and Trey Mosley bouncing back this week.
Man, didn't he do it?
We said he was good. He had to have a bounce back week. He was pissed off about how he played last week, so he had to come back and bounce back.
And that's the mark of a true dog right there. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? Everybody gets knocked down, but you got to be able to get back up. That is precisely the resilience that we talk about that Spartans carry. Trey Mosley is the epitome of that, guys. And you talk about, I think someone asked in the chat, like, what was the yardage for, it was Ryan McElvey. You're asking what the yardage was for Nate Carter. That was 3 touchdowns. It was 111 yards. Back-to-back 100-yard games for Nate Carter, by the way. Leads the Big Ten in rushing. Leads the Big Ten. And we have a guy, Noah Kim, who leads the Big Ten in passing.
Another
81% completion percentage. And he's just named the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week.
That's all. Just look at that flick of the wrist.
I mean, that's a dime. That was almost triple coverage right there. You got to be accurate with that ball. If you're a little to the right, to the left, a little high, could be a pick.
Listen, I just like how composed and poised he is when he does the play action, because it's an element of he's not rushing to run out the pocket. I do wish we could show that play where he did scramble and run and made my man miss so smooth. But to the element of you can see he has control of the offense the entire game. And that's an element that you like to see when you're playing these types of teams. And we're also to, stack them up because we got, the Huskies coming in. But yeah, to Chew's point, man, can I get a heel? Like that's an element, right? Like he's getting it. Now he's also so humble where this is a guy I don't think pride doesn't come before the fall for him. Like, he's continuously working because he wants to get better and stacking up week by week. And so I think Spartan Nation, we're very privileged to have a guy who stuck it out throughout the years and waited his turn. And like, now you see what he's doing. He's taking full advantage of controlling the offense here.
Yeah, that he's a guy but this is going to be like I said, the first two games were games where they did what they were supposed to do. We're going to talk more when we break it down on Thursday, but this is the game now. Noah has to get his mind right, get prepared for this game. But also too, I will be remiss if I did not give a shout out to my guy.
You got a lot of guys. You got a lot of guys now.
My guy, Jonathan Kim.
Oh, look, Chew loves the kickers all of a sudden. Look, he's been – look, I think we have a shirt about how much you hate kickers, and now you love him. What, a 47-yarder a week ago, and then this last weekend, 52 and a half, but they won't call it half.
They hit that. Hey, look, let's talk about the vantage point. So I'm up top, and I'm looking. I'm like, come on now. Come on. Let's get some more legs. And you're on the field. I mean, me and Stray got the same vantage point, but for the ball to hit – exactly where it did and go that way, like, he won me over. The
thing with him is when he lined up for that kick, I was excited because like
versus nervous like we have been in the past. Like,
no. When he lined up, it was like 50. I was like, this boy's gonna give me something to talk about. How he missed it, how they're back, everything like that.
Oh my goodness!
And the boy went through, and I met his parents I was going into the stadium. I see his parents there, so I stopped and talked to him. I was like, "Hey, listen, I got to admit, I introduced myself. I was like, I'm not a fan of kickers." And his mom, acted like she was going to kick me, and I was like, "But your son's starting to win me over." And then after the game, I was going up for the post-game show. His dad grabbed me. He's like, "How do you like kickers now?"
Gotta love it. I mean, look, we got two Kims, again, both of them from Virginia, one from Centerville, that's Noah, then the other one from Fredericksburg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's another guy from Fredericksburg. He's on the defensive side of the ball. That's Jordan Hall. Hi, what's up, Mama Hall? We see you in the chat. Welcome.
You know what? Best part of my Saturday was I'm driving on the sidewalk doing work, and I see Mama Hall and Grandma Hall, and right there, stop. He was like, I was looking for you. I was asking. And the best hug, warm embrace. They was looking for a hoodie for Grandma Hall. I was like, if I had one on, I would took it off my back and gave it to her. But that was the element of like, man, look, the family vibes are real here,
Right.
Look, Mama Hall laughing. She laughing. But that was the best part of my Saturday, I'll tell you that.
So yeah, with that too, we were driving. Brendan and I were driving to the stadium, and I was like, oh, there's Harriet's bus down there. It was like we're all the way coming down, and then Brendan's like, oh, I see Mama Hall back there too. She was at the bus, and she comes to the parking lot there, meets us, hugs, and I introduced her to George. It was an absolute great time. She's going around being a great ambassador for Michigan State. And, you talk about those things. Those are the people that we need, right now. Coach Barnett talked about, recruiting in-house all the time. No one's reaching out and asking about, transferring the red shirt and everything like that is because, this kind of vibe, this kind of atmosphere here. And shout out to Mama Hall. Shout out to all the parents, that are still sticking it out and still proudly, repping the green and white right now, because that's a great look for us, for outside recruits that are, maybe teetering with commitments. It's like, okay, these people are still staying there. It's for a reason, because the atmosphere that's in the building. So that is something, love it, and love the video that Mama Hall put on Twitter with no voice and everything, but it was great.
Hey, listen, I mean, it is a Spartan thing. A lot of people won't understand until you get here. It's a family affair, 1,000%. Guys, we got to talk about those defensive guys. It's a trigger promotion that we've got going on with IHOP. 3 sacks, free stacks. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know if we got that video.
Kyle if you get double digits.
Right.
Yeah, baby.
Baby.
3 stacks, because 7 with the 7 for completion. Look, we were gangbusters, man. Like just everybody flying to the ball. Like this is a complete change from the 2 weeks ago against Central Michigan, where you kept the quarterback bottled, make sure he never got open out. He had some big runs, but a few of them. But man, I wish we had the stat of how many times we got a hit on him beyond the sacks. But look, my man was definitely hurting coming out of Spartan Stadium, like the goal is.
Oh, he's still in that ice tub right now. This is Tuesday. Oh yeah, and I think you still have time because you have 72 hours. If you got that ticket and you haven't gotten your free stack, find a local IHOP in the state of Michigan. You can cash that boy in, right? Because there's 7 of them, 7 sacks for Michigan State, holding the Richmond Spiders to 193 yards of total offense, guys.
That, you know what, holding that offense, it's under 200 yards of total offense. I know, that's a feat that's something to be proud of for the defense. That is something. And the defense,
you don't care who you play. You don't care who you play, right?
Yeah. One thing that stings, and I want to apologize. I want to apologize from the bottom of as the offensive guy, as a running back. I apologize for us messing up your shutout.
You know, as I still feel like a player in that locker room when I see stuff like that, and I get angry, man. Yeah, I was angry for the defense and everybody on that, because you just don't want to mess something like that up. And I know they're just young men and they're trying to do their best, but man, the first thing you got to do is secure that rock, hold on to it, baby. And there was 2 fumbles that ended up causing 2 touchdowns and eliminated the shutout.
Let's have some empathy. Let's have some empathy because these young guys.
I didn't get empathy from y'all when I fumbled.
Hey, listen, right? What you talking about?
No, I was like,
I'm not crucifying. I'm not calling nobody by name. I'm saying hold on to the damn rock, man.
Absolutely. No one to go.
We can't be soft on that. We can't be soft on that. I'm not baptizing anybody by fire, but come on, 45-0 is a statement. That's a statement. And they were there, and the defense deserved that. But, offense, I'm an offensive guy. So is you, right?
Right.
Listen, we don't want to screw it up. He said he apologized.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I'm saying, look, it's all good, man. Look, we did our job. We did our job. The ones and two, we did the job. Feel me? Like, we good. We good.
He said, we good. Otis, hey, look, somebody's asking, can we talk about how Zion Young has been, how good he's been? Man, that's from old Doug Hagedorn.
Man, look, Doug, appreciate that $5. Now we're gonna get some Wendy's for that $5, baby. No, listen, I love how he plays, right? Like he's not doing the flash. He is playing within the game and straight dog, right? So that man can go north, south, east, west in a heartbeat. And I think that's an element of just wait till other guys start to kind of climb up and meet him at his level. But this is a guy that's truly going to have that outbreak year because people slept on him, but that man's getting it. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do against elite competition with the Huskies coming in, because this is the true battle tester here. Like, all right, yeah, these first 2, not calling that they were cupcakes and, an easy opponent, but now we got elite Power 5 to Power 5, and we got to get it right. So I'm waiting to see how he's battle tested with a front line with the Huskies.
Yeah, go ahead, Stray.
Go ahead. Hey, man, I'm just saying that guy, look, he's only a sophomore, okay? 6'6", 265 pounds, and he is so technically sound. I mean, he's a monster of a man, but technically sound. He doesn't give up contain. He doesn't miss tackles. He just does exactly what the coaches ask him to do. And the ceiling is so high for Zion Young, man. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a guy who's going to play on Sundays for sure when it's his turn.
Who do you think he reminds you of, though, is a good question.
Look, what's my man? He looks like a young Julius Peppers to me.
Ooh.
You remember them? You remember him?
Yeah, we remember him.
Absolutely. I was gonna say like Shalik Calhoun.
Bigger,
obviously.
Bigger.
Yeah, bigger. But I'm saying like the technique coming off. I mean,
yes,
Shalik had that boom, right? But I see he got a combo of a couple guys that paid the way here.
I think, he has the moves like, Stray set up Peppers, but I think he has that lower body strength like a Cliff Ryan had when he was here. That lower body strength there. That
Saginaw stand up, baby.
He can drive the offensive lineman back, and he also has moves. He's definitely.
Yeah, all pros right there. I mean, that's what it is. All those three guys are pros and played for a long time, as a matter of fact. So, yes, to your point, Chew, the sky's the limit for Zion Young. That's for Doug Hagedorn. Any other questions? Feel free. Ask them. We're here. We're live. Everything's all good. But guys, right now, we're talking about what they were able to accomplish. When you see the offense clicking like that, you see the defense putting up the numbers that they're putting up, and the special teams. You're playing complementary football, guys. What do you think this bodes for the rest of this season, the way things are going right now for Michigan State football?
Going into the game, and when we talked on the pregame show, I said, what I wanted to see from the Spartans on Saturday was them perform well on all three phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. I want to see them, have contained and lane assignments when they're running down on kickoff coverage. Great job by our kickers, kicking them, having majority touchbacks on doing what they can with it. Great job, lane assignments, contain and breaking down on the football on the punt side. Good snap, good holds, good kicks. All those things came into play, on special teams that checked that box. Defensively, they swarmed to the football. They made tackles when they were blitzing, something that we didn't see in the Central Michigan game. We saw a lot of them coming out of their lanes when they were blitzing. This week, it was a lot better. The form tackling was a lot better this week. Offensively, once again, we saw the offensive line create a push, for the running backs, give it, over, 100 yards rushing for the Spartans, over 200 yards of passing, those different things, keeping the quarterback clean, keeping him in the pocket, giving him the time. Those are the things that I want to see them continue to build on as we go into this week, because now this is a top 10 team that's coming into Spartan Stadium now. These guys can do it, because those guys that we played, Richmond and Central, they're all on scholarship as well. It doesn't matter what level, you do what you're supposed to do. Now, this is the time where the men are men and the girls are glad of it. You got to step it up now to get going.
Guys, we got to call out the fellas that got there first. And Tyneil Hopper got his first touchdown catch as a Spartan. The transfer from Boise State, tight end, caught his first touchdown, and as well as Antonio Gates Jr. for his touchdown, a big 45-yard score from Noah Kim.
There's this Hopper touchdown. Great touch by Kim, and great job of just going up there and getting it. His first touchdown, he looks like, that's it? If that is, that's it?
I don't know if do we have Gates? Look at his celebration. It was like the biggest non-celebration of all time.
Hey, look, Coach, I remember Coach Smith was I remember he was like, act like you've been there before. I was like, Coach, I ain't been there. What you mean? So I'm gonna get this out of my system, and then I'm gonna go ahead for sure. No, I think Antonio Gates during fall camp, I would always ask the guys, who's kind of that breakout, was always Tyrell Henry, but he was like, look, Gates, man. Gates is a crisp route runner. He's a guy that can make you guess on your route tree, and you're stemming your routes. Stemming your routes meaning, setting up the DB and making him think you're going somewhere else and you're going a different way. I mean, you look at that Nate Carter. Now, I feel like you got to get some more burners, because Nate Carter obviously is faster, but we would have had a clean run into the end zone, because if you see that clip, he's trying to catch up with Nate to get a block in. It wasn't working. But it's good to see new, fresh faces, names that are getting the rock and getting in the end zone, because that's just a validation of all the hard work that he put in, or those two have put in. But yeah, that's good to see new names on the TD board.
Talk about act like you've been there before. Antonio Gates Jr., obviously Antonio Gates Sr., the future Hall of Fame tight end. I mean, I guess Antonio Jr. he was making touchdowns before he was even thought of. So he has been there before in spirit and before his DNA was formed. Let me tell you something, guys. Defensively, Aaron Brule had a monster game, posting a sack and 5 tackles, or actually 26 and a half career tackles for loss for Aaron Brule, just all over the field the last 2 weeks.
Where's Aaron Brule from, Stray?
The boot, baby.
The boot, baby.
That is the boot.
He's on that seafood diet on the field. Seafood diet, baby. See ball, eat ball. You can tell his pursuit was different. Like, it wasn't rounding it out straight to the tackling point. But just, man, our defense is dangerous when all 11 are flying to that rock, and you can see it. And we got a true test coming in. But look at that false start already. Look, you can never call, but my man saying hello, good night.
Hello.
So so if you look at that, oh man, now
that's a coverage sack right there.
Exactly. So look, everybody just patient.
What does that mean? When you say coverage sack, tell the people. Educate.
Yeah, look, coverage sack, man. Look, everybody has a lock on their man. If even in zone, the zones are so tight that quarterbacks feel like they can't zip it in, because if you do, it's a false move and it's an interception. And so cover sack, you just cover your man, let that front 4 or that 6 or that extra or 5 or that 6 guys rushing. It's a beauty for when you're running in the post and you're like, man, I got my guy. You look back, you hear the crowd cheer. It's nothing better than to look back and they're celebrating in the tackles for loss in the back there. So we need more of those, because we got a guy coming in that has picked apart our defense past 2 times here. So let's get it right, man. I'm excited to break this down, obviously, for Thursday's show. But, we're talking about Spartans open up already on the 2 TD underdog, like mad disrespect. Like, yeah, we watch news clippings, we read it, but that's just mad disrespect. And I think they're going to use that as fuel fire. That is bulletin board worthy. I feel like they need to bring that back when you put all the bad press in and talk about you, like the Spartan 2D underdog. That ain't reflecting on what we got. So I can't wait to break this down.
Can't wait, man. Angelo Grose led the team in tackles. We got to talk about him for a second here before we wrap this show up. Angelo Grose, 7 tackles, a half a sack, and a pass breakup. He's been playing lights out, guys, the first 2 weeks of this season.
Yeah, he absolutely has been playing, really good, sound football. One thing that I've been really impressed with him for, his open field tackle. That's something that, because I relish in the fact, like, if I was one-on-one with a DB, a corner, something like that, I'm like, yeah, this is in my favor, but he's been really sound, making those tackles there. And so, so has Chuck, but, Jello, he's been, something special.
Jello and Cal Halliday, Cal just being Cal.
Body man. Look, I'm not trying to be that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's what you've been trained to do. Those two games he's passed, like, yeah, that's how you do it. Now let's see how this happens this weekend. And obviously he's a great added value to the defense. So lights out. He's playing well. The 2 corners outside pressing well. Those safeties, man, I haven't seen a big time post being caught down that middle, which is great to hear and see. So we got some things going there.
Man, Spartans bringing in top 5 nationally ranked in 5 defensive categories. Total defense, number 5. Yards per play allowed, number 5. Looks like passing defense, number 5. Third down conversion defense, second in the nation, guys. Second in the nation.
Now we talked about how, like, Coach Hazleton everybody was calling for his head when we wasn't doing the right things. We wasn't getting the pass breakups or interceptions and getting home. The system's the system. Coaches coach, players play. Obviously, the system is an NFL system, and you can see now these guys are knowing what to do. And when you know what to do, you play faster. So that's a true testament to turning that tide from last season to this season. Got guys that's been in the system. and have some experience. So that's what we're supposed to be about. Like, that's the back in the day of, like, we ranked in those categories. So let's keep stacking them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see some people in the chat saying they got this is Sparta gear. Take pictures of it, tag us in it. Maybe we'll just put a collage of people on one of the shows, in their gear.
Yeah, but like, who wore it best?
That's what we got to do. Yeah, if you wear your gear, especially if it's on a Spartan football Saturday, take a picture, tweet it, put us on Instagram, tag us, and hopefully we may be able to do something for you someday and get some, I don't know, do something nice for you. Ticket, maybe a pat hanging out with you on the sideline. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Boy.
We got to come up with something. Steve Smith hit us with $2. I claim victory. Is that right, Steve? We claim it with you, brother.
$2.
We claim it with you. All right.
Everybody know that. Hey, nobody know that blues song. These last $2. Remember I played that?
I played it on the way to Indy. Yeah, that was something.
Yeah, you got one for the jukebox and two for the casino.
That's what we got to do, a little concert so they can have Chew and Otis do karaoke for the fans here. That is a treat. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. We'll play some videos another time.
Well, Rolando knows Johnny Taylor, baby.
Yes, definitely. Look in our link tree, in the bio, link in the bio for our link tree for all the new merch that's added all the time. Got all new stuff there for tailgates, tumblers, flags, stickers, and all kinds of things, like the flag behind Jehuu in the shot right here on the podcast. Be sure, everyone, to subscribe for the Spartan Brew newsletter that comes out daily at SpartanBrew.SpartanStory.com. There it is right here. We have it up for you right here. SpartanBrew.SpartanStory.com. And just a little daily little update for athletics. And don't forget the free game day program that's there. There's a QR code that you can always download the game day program. They don't sell them anymore. No more souvenirs.
Stray was pissed on the radio that they didn't sell the
No, that was George, man. That wasn't me.
Yeah, that was George.
Come on, man. How you mix me up with George?
I remember the conversation.
Hey, listen.
It was a rough day.
Inflation to print, we saving trees. You feel me?
Just like this. The Chew definitely didn't save no tree. Look at it. He's got it. I got my
copy. A sticker, right?
Cop the book. Cop Chew's book. Run from Civil War to the NFL. Jehuu Caulcrick, man. Hey, look, guys. It's a tough show, tough subject matter. But again, as we talked about it before, resiliency is what we do. Spartans will always prevail. We need to support these young men coming out on Saturday for the game against Washington. We're going to break the game down more on Thursday night. Guys, we're going to put a bow on this. You guys didn't have any final thoughts before we leave?
No, I mean, like I said, this is a good opportunity to rally and support. So show up. Even if you say, hey, I'm not going to go to the game, I got things to do, show up and support the pregame and the walk. And I think the numbers will be able to say that's going to motivate our guys even more as they take the field. So great show tonight, guys. Looking forward to breaking it down for Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to breaking it down for Thursday as well. Michael Penix Jr. giving the keys to what we think the Spartans need to do to beat Washington. As Mama Hall would say, Washington is on the clock
right now. That's right, fellas. Great show for Otis Wiley Jehuu Caulcrick. I'm Jason Strayhorn. Have a good night. God bless you. This is Sparta MSU. And go green.
Go white.
This is Sparta MSU as a combined presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. The show is produced by Tony LaBarbera, Tony Gustella, and Process Driven Consulting. Additional support is provided by Brendan Duravage. On-location technical support provided by Good Fruit Video. Be sure to follow our host Jason Strayhorn, Jehuu Caulcrick, and Otis Wiley on social media to stay up to date with all the latest This is Sparta news please like and subscribe by visiting our link tree and tell a friend to do the same. Thank you for your support. And as always, go green.